Hi, I am Stephanie Picone, one of the counselors here at El Capitan High School, and I'm here to present some important information to help with course selections. This portion of the presentation is going to be focused on reaching your goals. So during our time together, we're going to go over who is in the counseling department, life after high school, including some options for you, graduation requirements, how to read your transcript, four-year college and university admission requirements, financial aid, and some next steps. So, as I mentioned, I'm Ms. Picone. I'm a school counselor and I work with students' last names A through D. Mrs. Oliver works with students' last names E through LE. Mr. Udvar Haley works with students' last names LI through RE, and Mrs. Moya works with students' last names RI through Z. In addition to the four school counselors, we also have two guidance information specialists that assist us in working with students to support their needs. Mr. Kionis works with students' last names A through LE, and Mr. Carter works with students' last names LI through Z. So what are your options after high school? What are you planning for? Four-year college and university is one of the many options that are available to you, and there's a bunch of different systems with different requirements. We'll go more into depth in that in just a minute. Community college is another great option. Our two sister campuses is Grossmont College and Cuyamaca College, but there are many more campuses across San Diego County that offers a variety of programs, including San Diego City, San Diego Mesa, and Southwestern, to name a few. At the California community colleges, you can obviously get your general education requirements and transfer to university. You can also obtain a 2-year degree or an associate's degree. You can work on certificate programs, or you can take a class here or there to gain additional skills. There's lots of different options, and community college is a great option. In addition, there are trade and technical schools. Those are going to be more specifically related to a career or vocation. So culinary, cosmetology, arts, automotive. The important thing here is it's something you definitely know you want to do, because oftentimes those credits do not transfer anywhere else. So you want to make sure that you're completing the program and it's in a field in which you want to have a career. In addition, there's apprenticeship programs. Apprenticeship programs are going to be specific career-based skill programs. So plumbing, electrical, sheet metal, masonry, those are all going to be programs that you can do through an apprenticeship. Apprenticeships are often through unions, but they can be at community colleges as well. So it's definitely important to explore your options. It's going to be a paid learning opportunity. So you get paid while you're learning what you need to know to pass your licensure exams in those fields. There also is the armed forces or the military. There are several different branches of the military offering different career options. And so it's definitely important to understand the difference between each of those and the opportunities in which they provide. So those branches include the Navy, Army, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, and the National Guard. For any of those options, you're going to need to complete the ASVAB, which is going to be an aptitude test. That test is going to determine which careers you would be eligible for in the military. So it's definitely important that you prepare, do a practice test, and know what you need to earn on the aptitude test to get into the careers you're interested in within the armed forces. So reach out to your recruiter's office, ask for a practice test, then study, and then take the test as the official test for placement. There also is career training through a Grossmont Adult Education. So that's part of the Grossmont Union High School District, but it's focused on adult education. So if there's a specific career or certificate program you're interested in, we may be able to offer it within the district as well. So all of these programs start with completing your high school diploma. That's going to provide the most options available to you. So how do you do that? Graduation requirements for high school diploma include 220 credits. That breaks down into Social science, 40 credits. That includes a technology requirement. English is 40 credits. Math is 30 credits. We do place all students in 4 years of math, even if you've earned your 30 credits. So important to note that. Science, 20 credits is required, but again, we do place all students in a third year science. World language or finer performing art is 10 credits. PE is 20 credits. It's important to note here that students can earn a waiver for participating in sports. You can get a 5 credit waiver for any season of sport completed between the 10th and 11th grade, up to 10 credits waived. These credits don't disappear. You still need to get to 220 to graduate, but it moves from being required for PE to moving to any other area in which you want. In addition, you're going to need 60 credits of elective. So that's 6 year-long courses. Again, that's a total of 220 credits. That technology being made through your social science department and completing a post-secondary plan. This is something you'll do with the counselors, either through career cruising, if that's how you've been, or the program you've been working with, or we are transitioning to Zello. So that might be something you're continuing with us as well. Honor grad. So many of you have this question, what do you have to do to become an honor grad? So the basic requirement is a 3.5 cumulative GPA through the 7th semester of your senior year. So basically it's the first semester of 12th grade. If you meet that cutoff, then that part of the requirement is met. Some of you need a little bit more of a boost. So traditionally it's the second progress report of senior year's second semester, 8th semester is what they call it, can also be used to push students up. Can't be used to move anybody down, but it can be used for pushing students up to be eligible for that GPA requirement. Please note that the class of 2021 has a bit of an adjusted schedule considering we are on quarter grade requirements. So they're going to look at that quarter for progress report. In addition to that GPA requirement, you will also need to obviously meet all high school graduation requirements and be A through G eligible. We'll get to that in just a minute. So how do you read your transcript? Knowing where you're at is really important to planning for your future. So to access your transcript, you can go on Infinite Campus. There's a transcript tab on the side. You can click on that. And if you click on download, it will give you a transcript that looks similar to this. Obviously, identifying information is not listed here, but your transcript would. I've pointed out a few important things on the transcript, so I want to make sure those are highlighted. UIC in the upper left-hand side is the state student ID number. So oftentimes high school or college applications will ask for that number, and they call it the state student ID number. And on our transcript, it's the UIC. So that's where you can find that number. Below that, in the GPA summary section, you will find your cumulative GPA and your class rank. That first GPA is a weighted GPA. Below that is going to be all the courses you've attempted arranged by the semester in which they were taken. If you've been to more than one school, it will be separated by school in which it was completed as well. You may also see sports in this area. If you completed a full season of a sport, they will be listed with a grade of NM. NM stands for no mark. So no credits earned and no grade is given, but it's just a reflection of you completing that season of sport and when you completed it. On the other side of the transcript is courses in progress. So this will list all courses during a given semester. Being that we're on a little bit different of a schedule, if you were to pull it up right now, you would see not only quarter 3 that we're in right now, the odd classes, but you would also see quarter 4 even classes listed there as well, and the credits you're attempting to earn in each of those. Right below that is going to be the credit summary. It's really important to note that this is not a reflection of graduation requirements. It is just that those credits have been earned in that department. So some departmental classes do not meet specific graduation requirements, but would be reflected here. So just use it as a basic guideline. That total number of credits is an important one to look at to find out where it is you stand overall. And if you have any questions about any of that, please feel free to ask us. So for your college and university preparation, A through G requirements I've mentioned before. These are the minimum course requirements to apply to University of California campuses, that's UC, and the California State Universities, the CSUs. So for history, 2 years is required, English, 4 years, math, 3 years, and that's Algebra 1 or IM1 or higher. They do recommend a 4th year. Science, 2 years with labs is required, but they recommend a 3rd. World languages, 2 years of the same language is a minimum. They recommend a 3rd. 1 year of fine or performing art, and 1 year of a college prep elective. This college prep elective could be something that's only available in the G category, but it also could be something that is going above and beyond in, say, math or science or world language. The most important thing to note here is you do need a minimum GPA of a C or better in all coursework attempted. A D is not going to be sufficient. NCAA requirements. So it's really important for NCAA that you're paying attention to courses in which you're taking. If you're doing the recommended above and beyond of the A through G, you should be, and meeting high school graduation, obviously, you should be okay, but still it's important to always double check. So Division 1 or 2 have a little bit different core courses required. Really, it's just specific courses. So English, 4 years for Division 1, 3 years for Division 2. Math, 3 years for Division 1, 2 for Division 2. Natural or physical science, 2 years each. And then the additional English, math, or science for Division 1, it's 1 year. For Division 2, it's 3 years. So those first 4 categories actually all add up to the same. It's just a matter of which category it has to be in. Social science, it's 2 years required for each. And for additional courses, can be in any of the above areas, foreign language, or a non-doctrinal religion or philosophy class, each requiring 4 years for Division 1 and 2. You also need to meet specific GPA requirements. So we are going to provide an additional link to a slide deck in which you can click on these resources to find more information, specifically regarding access and availability of SAT, ACT, and how that's relating to the calculation of eligibility. But first step is meeting these course requirements. Oops, skipped over. Okay, so about those SAT and ACT. There are some updates. At this time, information is constantly changing. So it's really important that you listen to what we're saying, but also do your own research to find the most up-to-date information, because it can change right after this presentation is recorded. You can find the most updated information on the college admissions websites directly. So I'm sure many of you have heard colleges have become test optional and test blind, many of them due to lack availability of SAT or ACT testing sites, as well as safety concerns during the global pandemic. SAT just recently announced, or College Board recently announced, that they are discontinuing SAT subject tests immediately and are eliminating the optional essay after the June 2021 test date. And so that's really important to note. Obviously, colleges would have to adjust their admission requirement to reflect that change or provide a new option. University of California system has suspended the SAT or ACT requirement for admissions until the fall of 2024. Again, on that slide deck, I'll link a press release where you can get more information. And then the California State University system is temporarily suspending the use of the SAT or ACT to determine admissions eligibility for the next academic year as well, 2022 and 2023 academic year. And again, a link will be provided in that slide deck for you to access more information. So, having said that there's so much up in the air, we still wanted to provide a typical suggested timeline for you so that you have an idea of what to expect if test options come back around. So typically in the 10th grade, we would recommend taking the PSAT in October. 11th grade, we'd recommend taking the PSAT in October again. And the reason we want you to do it in 11th grade is because it's also the National Merit Qualifying Test. So we want you to have the opportunity to qualify as a National Merit Scholar. You also would take the real SAT and or ACT in late spring. Come the 12th grade, we'd want you to either take or retake the SAT and or the ACT in early fall. You always want to check with the colleges directly to find out when's the last test administration that they would accept for admission. So what additional admission requirements would be required? It can be a variety of things. Some require a transcript and or you listing all the courses and grades earned, as well as those planned in your schedule for senior year. Some may require essays or personal statements. UC specifically require personal insight questions where you get to pick 4 out of 8 questions to answer. In addition to that, you may be asked for letters of recommendation from either counselors and or teachers. Just depends on the application. Please ask the counselor or teacher before listing them as a recommender on any application. It's always just important to provide that courtesy and the heads up that something's going to be coming their way. Also, please provide a brag packet to the recommender at least 2 weeks before the due date, not counting breaks or weekends. So if winter break is coming up, make sure you're giving 2 weeks prior if something's going to be due during the break or shortly when we return. If the application requires a secondary school report, please provide your counselor with a brag packet or at the very minimum, a resume of extracurricular and sport activities that you've been part of. Common App does require a secondary school report and asks us some questions related to that content. So please make sure you provide us that. Brag packets can be found on the counseling website, again, that we will link in that slide deck that we'll provide. It is a fillable form, so you can type onto it, save, and email it out to us all without having to use a printer. So financial aid, and we want to discuss it, and we're going to explain why it's important for us to discuss it right now. So financial aid is money that's used to pay for education after high school. You apply by completing the free application for federal student aid or the FAFSA, or if you don't qualify for the FAFSA, you can complete the California DREAM Act application or CADA. That would still qualify you for some state aid if you are not eligible to complete the FAFSA. When do you apply for financial aid? You'll do this senior year. So freshmen, sophomores, don't worry about this right now, but please know it's coming senior year. You apply anytime between October 1st and you must submit by March 2nd. The FAFSA and CADA completion is required to be eligible for the California Promise, and that's the program that gives you the first 2 years of community college for free. So definitely don't want you to miss out on that opportunity. Getting California Promise has no bearing on how much money your family makes. So you just need to complete the FAFSA regardless of if you would qualify for aid typically, or CADA. State financial aid. I mentioned it in regards to CADA, but the FAFSA would make you eligible as well. Why The reason we think it's important for you to know about financial aid right now is because of the Cal Grant. It's a form of state aid, and it takes into account grades earned in 10th and 11th grade as part of the qualifying process. So although you don't apply for financial aid till way later, those grades that you are taking right now do count. So how are grades used? The Cal Grant takes into account an unweighted GPA in all courses completed except PE during the 10th and 11th grades. So work really hard on all those classes. Minimum GPAs for Cal Grant A is a 3.0 and Cal Grant B is a 2.0. So grades matter, keep them up, and get any help you need along the way to be successful. So now that you have all this information, what's next? So course selection. A course selection presentation, all done by grade level, will be presented in advisory February 9th through February 12th. We will also be offering grade level question and answer Zooms. Incoming 12th grade, so current 11th graders, will be on February 18th from 1:30 to 2:30. Incoming 11th graders, so current 10th, will be February 19th at 1:30 to 2:30. And incoming 10ths or current 9th graders will be February 20th at 1:30 to 2:30. You will complete your course requests using a Google form. This form will be provided at the end of the presentation during the advisory class. We ask that all course selection requests be completed by February 24th. If we don't have them by then, we'll do one reach out to remind you to get those submitted. And if not, we'll be making those course selections for you. Don't miss any important information and updates. So make sure you stay in contact with us. The counseling office does use Remind, and there are the codes to access. You text the number 81010, and you find the code according to your graduating class and last name. You can also follow us on Instagram. We're at El Capitan Counseling. And just a reminder for parents, if you are wanting to sign up for Reminds, please don't use the codes listed there. We do have limited number of spaces for each of those sections. Please email the counselors and we can provide a parent code for you so that you can still get the exact same updates that the students are getting as well. That is the end of the presentation. Please, students, reach out to your counselors if you have any questions. We are here to help you out. Thank you and have a great day.